I have in my hand here an outer box in which is contained a CCTV power unit, which you see in front of me here. Now the specifications on this is it's 12 volt, 12 amp and 16 output. Okay, it comes with a 1.5 meter power lead, and on the front of the box you can see there is an LED light here. Okay, so that means that without even opening up the unit we can see if we have power on it or not. So we just plug this in here. You see you have an LED light that comes on there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come along. I'm just going to open up this unit here and we can see inside. Now the first thing I'm going to notice that I actually used a Phillips screwdriver just to take out this screw that was locking this lid closed. Okay, so we'll look inside here. So the first thing to note is we have a 12 volt input here, but we have an adjuster on it. We can actually adjust it all the way up to 15 volts. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward there. The next thing we'll notice is we have different blocks here which have the connections that will feed our CCTV cameras, and in each one we have a fuse, and also we'll say we have an LED light which will indicate if we have power going out to a particular unit. If the fuse was blown, for instance, the LED light would be off. So if we have a problem, let's say with a camera is after shorting out, the first thing is, rather than blowing the entire power unit, it'll just blow that fuse, which is a big advantage over the lower cost power units. And then the second advantage we have is that we can very easily identify where the problem lies in terms of open it up, we see one of the fuses blown, so we can just there debug that particular problem and resolve it. Okay. If we look at where the wires are actually fitted in when we're wiring in the various cables running in here, we can see that we have slots cut in the back of it here at very convenient points for running in cables. But what happens here is, in the economy of the design here, we actually have a common wire here. So if we have two cameras here, we only need 3 slots on the block to run it through, because there'll be a common wire between, let's say, 2 cameras here. So just on the plus and the minus side. And so we have a total of 16 here. So it's actually a capacity of about 0.8 of an amp going to each one. And that's 800 milliamps is more than enough to power most cameras. Now the few exceptions to it would be, if you have a camera that's a very long way away, it might need a local power source. Or we could also have a situation where we would have a camera that has a very high power requirement, something like a PPZ, something like that, might have a requirement above that. So it's part of a wider range of power units that we have here. So we have a very simple low cost ones, 1, 2 and 5 amp ones feeding for single cameras. But we have in the professional range here, we have something like this, and we also have, we'll say, a 5 output, an 8, a 9 output, and also the 16 way. And inside the range of the professional ones, something like this is very, very competitively priced, but I don't think it's compromised really too much on the build specifications on it. This really will do the job, and you know, it's a nice addition onto our wider range of CCTV cameras. So that's it anyway, an overview of our 12 volt, 12 amp, 16 output CCTV power unit.